Morning everybody, and thanks for joining us this morning. It's so exciting to be doing more of these video hangouts here around the New Zealand showcase activity for the add-ons. This morning we're having a chat to the hospitality space. For those of you who are cafe owners, restaurant owners, pubs and bars and such like, we've got two great add-ons that we're going to explore that can really make an impact in your business. In fact, it's really exciting to talk to local restaurants who are using some of these and understanding the change that's happening in their business because of the add-ons, the time that's saved, the money that's saved, the administration that goes away. So what are these videos and how does it work? Well, these are showcase videos where we highlight the add-on providers for a particular space. And as I mentioned, this one is about hospitality. They run for about 10 minutes. Well, actually, the video runs for slightly longer, but we give each add-on provider about 10 minutes, and I have a conversation with them. I ask them some questions. We talk about their product. We try and unpack how it impacts your business and how it can make a difference for you. We will get a demo. The reality is, in 10 minutes, these are big products, and we can't go through the whole product. So we focus in on one key area or one key item. Both these products have free trials and are really easy to get up and running. So I'd highly recommend that if after the video this has taken your fancy, go and try out their logins. Go and log in for a free trial. Give it a shot. See how it works in your business. These videos are archived and you can share them with other business owners immediately after the activity, and we'd encourage you to do that. Get the word out there. Help others improve their business through add-ons as well. The other thing is, below the video are some links and activity for you as well. So as we're talking to both Cooking the Books and Tanda, and they mention their website, the links are down below. So you can go through to their sites and find out more. There will also be a follow-up email in a couple of days' time that has a little bit more information for you and a special offer from both of these providers for the New Zealand market. Right, you didn't come here to hear me talk too much. So how about we wrap that part up and we get into talking to these add-on providers. So the first up, we're going to have a chat to, alphabetically to make it fair, Cooking the Books. Today we're joined by Kiri from Cooking the Books. Now let me just look down here on my laptop and I'll bring her into the live stream. So Kiri, there we go. Don't forget to unmute yourself. So hey. Kiri, how's the team over there at Cooking the Books this morning?
Really good. Nice and early for us hospitality folk at 9 o'clock this morning, but going well.
Yeah. Well, we should mention that it's 9 o'clock here in Melbourne, but 11 o'clock back in NZ. So a lot of the cafes will be open and running and have done their breakfast shifts, and other places setting up for lunch, I guess. So, Kiri, Cooking the Books is a package for the hospitality space. We talk about kitchen management type tools. Can you tell us in your words, what is the solution tell us in your words, what is Cooking the Books?
So Cooking the Books is a kitchen management solution, as you said. It looks after everything that you need to do with your food, which includes obviously your recipe costing, your overall food cost, nutrition, which is more and more important these days, all your ordering, stock taking, so everything that you're doing currently, and it's just all combined into the one system, so you actually share the data and you don't have to keep updating it like you do in Excel.
Fantastic. No, that's really, really good to hear. So, look, you mentioned things like, the size of a business and understanding the food costing and that sort of thing. Is there a particular size of business that would use this, or could a small, two-person operated cafe still get benefits from a tool like Cooking the Books?
Absolutely. So we've got everything ranging from a single database to a multi-level corporate database. Everything's completely tailored to the individual business. So no matter how big or small you are, everyone needs to look after their food cost, and with the smaller businesses it's even more important because you've got less of a revenue margin and it's usually your own personal money that you're putting into the business, so you want to make sure that you are getting profit from your investment.
So can you unpack some of the key things? Here at MYB we call them pain points for a business, those sort of areas that businesses struggle with, sometimes without realizing they struggle with it. What are those things that Cooking the Books really helps in a business, in a restaurant, for example?
So the major thing that we do differently to anyone else is that we do a live food cost. So at the moment you're doing your profit to loss report, you're giving it to your chef at the end of the month, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it then. So what we do is we actually give you a daily, weekly and month to date food cost, so you can see how you're going and make any changes if you need to before it's too late and you've already lost that money.
That's fantastic. So that allows the restaurant owner and the chef to have a really good conversation around the cost of the menu, correct? And then change the buying habits or the purchasing habits for the upcoming week.
Absolutely. So you can see your purchasing habits with your purchase to revenue, and you can also see the individual recipes. So when things go out of season, you can see that you're no longer making as much money out of it, and you can take it off the menu.
And Cooking the Books does more than that too, doesn't it? It manages your supplier information and menu cards and such like. Is that right?
Yep. So it stores all of your supplier and stock information, and then it uses that to build your menus. So when you do a recipe, it automatically knows how much that ingredient costs. So you don't really have to do anything to cost out a recipe. You just write it, and it gives you the cost information.
And the beauty, of course, is because it's connected via the API to MYOB products, that information's passed through to the accountant, correct, too? So that the accountant or bookkeeper can have that deeper conversation with the business owner as well, right?
Absolutely, and there's a lot of reports. So at the moment, all the accountants are only getting, the overall invoice spend, so they can't really give them any information or any advice on what they should be doing differently because they just don't know.
Great. So look, we've talked around some of the more technical side of it, and I know it's a massive product and we can't really show all of it, but how about you give us a demo and show just some of those key features, or at least one of those key features, so people can get an understanding of how easy it is to use.
Absolutely.
So Kiri's just going to bring up Cooking the Books on the screen. There we go.
So from the home page, which is just cookingthebooks.com.au, you log in using your email, and we always use an email because that's where you get sent the CC for all your orders so that you know that everything's gone through, as well as any error reports or wastage reports. So as you can see, there's lots of different tabs here. We'll mainly look at the stock one now, which if you have a look here, this is your individual pantry list. So this is each individual business has obviously their different suppliers and goods that they have in there. So it's sorted by supplier. You've got the code for ordering, obviously the description so you know what it is. This is the active cost that you can change manually, or it will update every time you get an invoice. It's then got the amount that's in the packaging type, so it will automatically cost it for you. You categorize it for when you do your stock take. You can put in wastage percentage, so if you're cleaning, say, a whole eye fillet or anything like that, you know how much you're actually throwing in the bin every time you order a kilo. You can put in a par level, so you can do par level orders. Whether or not GST is applicable, you can link it to nutrition reports, and you can also choose whether or not it's food related. So if you want to place orders for things like takeaway coffee cups or chemicals, you can just untick that and it won't come off your food costs.
Great.
So that's what you use to do everything in Cooking the Books. So I'll just quickly show you. This is what the orders look like, and that just gets emailed to your supplier. So you can use any supplier that you're currently using, because pretty much everyone has email these days, or you can just print it off and fax it if they still don't.
Nice.
And the recipe cards. This is obviously the biggest bit of Cooking the Books. It's costing your recipes. So when you put in the ingredients, just from the portion, it works out how much wastage is applicable and then how much it costs. So it will give you your food cost as well as your food cost percentage with labour. It will actually tell you what your gross profit on that is as well, so you know which of your items you should actually be selling more of.
And so it's interactive. If I was to go in there and change the price that I want to put that on the menu, it updates everything straight away for me?
Absolutely. So as soon as you update a price, it updates through everything. And then you've obviously got your general cooking method and everything in the recipe. And also the standard recipe card, so you can have your photo and everything like that to print out for the chefs to know how to produce the best looking dish.
Nice.
I'll just show you quickly as well the food cost report. So this will show you food cost percentage over your stock take dates, so you can check how you're going. And you can look at this at any date range you want. So you can have a look at, say, this time last year, work out that it's starting to get a little bit colder and people are eating less, so you seem to have more wastage, and actually do something about it for the following year. And it obviously takes into consideration all of your stock take, how much you've purchased, how much you've requisitioned, how much you've given to staff, and then your revenue. And it works out your food cost percentage just at the click of a button, so there's no more time spent calculating that, with a piece of paper. But they are sort of the major features of cooking the books.
Excellent. So look, as we mentioned, this is actually quite a deep product, and there's a lot more to it. And I'd really encourage you to go and explore this afterwards. Kiri, while you've got that there, one of the questions we get a lot of, and of course in this industry, probably as applicable to almost any industry at the moment, is cash flow and knowing how much things cost and impact. So what does it cost to run Cooking the Books in a kitchen?
Absolutely. So it's a cost by subscription. It's 120. We do it a little bit cheaper for New Zealand. It's still 120 New Zealand dollars as it is Australian dollars, and that pretty much is almost guaranteed to be made back because it takes into consideration all of your wastage and everything like that. So realistically, you're looking at least making it a negligible cost, if not making more money from putting it in place.
Yeah, so even from getting just a better understanding of the wastage of food in your business, you'll recoup the cost, is what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So the other big part as well, and again for a lot of hospitalities, particularly restaurants and pubs who open at different hours and are open often late, they need that support. So what sort of support does Cooking the Books offer to these businesses who are using the product?
Sure. So I'll just show you quickly with our Google Drive. So all of our customers get access to all of our how-to videos, which is obviously the best way to learn how to use it in the first place, as well as a whole bunch of help manuals. So they're really good to get you going in how to know actually how to use the program. Then if you still need any support, you can call us or send us an email. And we do realize that obviously there is weird times in hospitality, so we are open more than just 9 to 5, and we'll answer the phone pretty much any time.
Brilliant. Excellent. Alrighty. Well, thank you very much, Kiri, for joining us this morning. It's great to be able to showcase some of these add-ons that are really making a big difference, and we know that Cooking the Books is making some difference in some small businesses through to some very large businesses, and it's a great privilege to talk to some of these customers and see that happening in the business. So as we mentioned before, the links and things are below, so after the video you can drop down there and click through, and there will be the email with a special offer from Kiri and the team coming through to you, I believe, on Thursday. Alrighty, let's keep things moving along. Now we're going to change tack slightly, so that was about managing your kitchen, but another big component and a big part of the hospitality space is the staff. We all have various staff across, from baristas to waiters and waitresses to sous chefs and kitchen hands. So let's have a look to the guys from Tanda, and I'll just go and grab Alex here on the computer and bring him in. Alex, are you there?
Yeah, how's it going?
Unmute.
I'm here.
Excellent. Alrighty, good to see you. So Alex is joining us from Brisbane this morning. And he's going to talk to us about Tanda. Tanda stands for time and attendance. So Alex, in your terms, what is Tanda?
Yeah, so we're kind of like cooking the books for your staff, in the sense that we basically call Tanda an employee management system. So we take a whole bunch of things that are in various places. So your rostering, your timesheeting, your payroll integration, putting your timesheets into MYB, and bring it all into one system so that all this data is managed in one place, and you really have a lot of insights into your real-time costings, how much your staff are actually costing you.
Excellent. So we talk about employee management, and sometimes when we use terms like that, it's a bit scary to people. Is there a typical sort of business or a typical size of customer that Tanda really shines for?
Yeah, it is a scary one, isn't it? But realistically, if you've got more than, say, 10, 15 staff, you're probably better off having a system in place that does all this rather than having your roster in Excel and your timesheets on paper and then doing all this manual data entry to bring it together.
Yeah, excellent. So I know another area that you have as well, and I believe it's something that you do free or as part of the service, is the whole time clock side of things, massively important. Is that a huge part of the puzzle as well?
Yeah, it definitely is. And look, you're seeing one on the screen right now. It's basically like a picture of one. But what we do with all our customers is we give them this time clock, and what it enables you to do is your staff can clock in and out of work just by tapping a button. So rather than having to fill out a paper timesheet and then you needing to add it all up, they clock in using the time clock. All this data appears in our system in Tanda straight away, and it really makes it a lot easier for you to get up and running with your with automating your timesheets and doing all that processing automatically.
One of the funny things, that, at least what I find it funny, talking to your customers about that particular piece, there's at least a couple of them who I know, their staff have actually turned that, because that thing will take a photo of the staff member as they check in, and they've turned it into a bit of a monthly competition for who can take the funniest and the wackiest photo as they clock in. So it's great to see staff having a bit of fun with some of this technology that's being brought in to help the business as well.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. We've talked about a number of these bits and pieces. My gut says actually just showing Tanda is probably the best thing to do here. So how about you whip open the demo and take us through just how easy Tanda is to manage things like your rostering, you're getting your staff from MYB, and then the whole chock out process.
Yeah, sure. I'll start from the beginning. So this is sort of the Tanda dashboard, I guess. This is just a list of staff here. But to import your staff from MYB, it's just a matter of going to the import button and choosing MYB from that list. So that actually connects to the MYB API and downloads all of your staff data. So we'll pull through pay rates, date of birth, phone numbers, contact details, all sorts of stuff to enable you to create your profile in there. So we've pulled through Hank Scorpio and Frank Grimes. Now I'll just show you what a timesheet looks like. So in reality, what would happen now is that these staff would start clocking in and out of work using the time clock. And as they clock in and out of work, Tanda will build up a timesheet. So let's look at Peter Parker's timesheet. And it looks kind of like this. So on Tuesday, he clocked in at 10:30 and finished at 4 p.m. So sort of a bit of a late ending lunch shift. Then he worked a few evenings or even an overnight one, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And what's happened here is that by Peter clocking in and out using the time clock, it's built this timesheet up for him automatically. As a manager, you can go in there and you can say, that all looks good, so you can approve it. And it can just approve all the timesheets, and it's basically a really, really quick way of getting through all the requirements that you need to get through in terms of paying staff accurately. And then once it's done, so at the end of the period, at the end of the week rather, you can go to your timesheet list and just export that back into MYOB, and that'll actually create timesheets directly in MYOB. Sorry, wrong link. I want the New Zealand one. And that'll create timesheets in MYOB for you, which actually have all the correct data for Peter there. So you'll have all the hours that he's worked at the appropriate pay rates, if there are any differences there, all entered in automatically for you. So there's no actual data entry to be done. Now,
and that must be saving so much time for businesses.
It really does. We find it really saves people quite a lot of effort. Now there's also, that's really the crux of it, and I want to focus on that because it is really important in hospitality to get this data right. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff across the top there. So we've got real-time rostering that you can build, so you can plan out when your staff are working, notifications that will come through for if people are late for work and stuff like that. And there's a whole bunch of add-ons and other stuff that you can configure as well. But we find the really big benefit there is getting a time clock in and getting people clocking in out of work.
Yeah. We've talked to a restaurant just down the road, and they've said that by getting the staff to do that check-in, check-out, and being able to automate that information back into account has saved them from a number of hours down to a handful of minutes. And the smile on their faces as they're explaining that to us is just it's incredible to be a part of that story.
Yeah, I think the actual one of the quotes we got from one of our customers on MYOB was that using the tools that we have here, they've cut their wage costs by 4%, and when that's their biggest cost, it really makes a difference to the bottom line. Yeah,
totally. Is there anything else you want to demo us there in the system today?
No, I'll keep it simple for now. But I'll show you what a time clock looks like in a bit more detail.
Yeah, nice. Let's do that. Yep.
This earlier, but I got too excited. So that there is what the time clock looks like. So as staff will get to work, they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll clock in, and that clocks them into the system, and takes a photo of them so you can see their pretty face. And then again, at the end of the day, it's a matter of clocking out. And our
question for you.
Sorry,
there's Jake popping up. Hi, Jake. Hey. So you yesterday in the dry run when we were talking about this, you mentioned something that caught me off guard a little bit about these time clocks and the price of them. Can you just elaborate on that for the businesses who are listening today? Yeah,
so the price of this time clock is actually free. So how our pricing works is that it's $2 per employee per week for New Zealand, and that includes a free time clock. So you can basically clock your staff in and out of work with no extra cost.
And
so
you
it's
take care of
really simple.
Yeah, great. And you take care of everything you're doing with the time clock, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Perfect, perfect. Don't you love a slight delay on the line? Sorry about that. We're talking over each other a little bit there. Hey, listen. So you talked on pricing. So do you want to recap that pricing again for us?
Yep, sure. So the pricing is $2 per employee per week. That's special New Zealand pricing we have running at the moment. It's sort of an introductory offer, and that again covers the entire use of the system for as long as you like.
Fantastic. Okay. So the other key thing, and you heard us talking to Kuri earlier on, was, and again in these businesses that operate some quite different hours to a 9-to-5 sort of business, support. What sort of support does Tanda have, and also the learning curve? How do people get up to speed with the product?
Yeah, sure. So we have, as you can see, we've got this live chat support at any time and talk to us. We also have email support, and there's a dedicated phone number in Australia and in New Zealand. So I can read it out now, but it'll also be in the notes to get emailed out, I imagine. But if we do have this 0800 number that you can call us on any time. So basically, our support options really are quite extensive, and we know that, as Kiri said, people are working at random hours of the day. So we always want to be there to actually be able to help them out whenever we can.
Yeah, perfect.
Jake hopes I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I think you're doing fine. I'm not sure about me talking over top of you, but that's fine. Alrighty, excellent. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining us today, and the team there in Brisbane. As we mentioned, it's really exciting to have various different add-ons that come in and really help solve those specific pieces of your business that need a bit of love and attention. The things that can take extra time, that take you away from doing what you really want to do. You didn't start a cafe to spend time doing administration. You didn't kick off a restaurant to work out, all the paperwork and the books that go with it. So Cooking the Books and Tanda are two add-ons that can really save you a lot of time, frustration, and administration. And ultimately, that means more money in the bank for you, more time with the family, and more time actually doing what you're passionate about, running your business. So as we mentioned, below the video are the links for both of those websites. I'd really encourage you to drop out to their sites, go and check out their free trials. Let them know you saw them on the video today. You'll also be getting an email on Thursday, which will have follow-up information, phone numbers, and that special offer from them both that's here for the NZ market. We really hope that this has been something that you've enjoyed this morning and found out something new that can make an impact in your business. Please do feel free to share this with other business owners. And we'll be doing more of these things in the coming months. But for today, that's all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.